Educated in traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture, Lu Padin discovered that music can support us in harmonizing our own frequencies with that of the Qi field. This story is about how she enters the Qi field to receive and send information for healing and to shape her own life. My name is Thorsten Lüdecke, and this is the Wisdom Qigong podcast. So welcome everyone. Today I've got Lu Padin with me. Lu is based in Argentina and it's actually our first guest from Argentina. Although she is running an international organization called Mil Grulas, where they have students from many countries, but I think it's all Spanish speaking, right? Is it?
Yeah, all the students are Spanish speaking.
Perfect. And when I connected with Lu, she said, well, we've got something that we do a little different than maybe other teachers. We actually integrate music in our healing. So maybe you would like to explore that a little bit so our audience can understand what you're doing there exactly.
Yes, thank you, Thorsten, for interest in our work. Mainly we use 8 phrases to set the Qi field, but we use music to enhance our frequency to start our work in the field. At the beginning, this started like something new, but I wasn't so sure about my work. And this started with Teacher Wei training 5 years ago. And when he invited us to observe our breathing, and the time between the breathing and the seconds. And I started to observe the different timelines in some kind of music, like Robert Coxon, for example, on some like for music from movies, okay? Because that kind of music are like very powerful. So I started to practice with music alone, not with my students. And I spent my time like 2 or 3 hours per day observing the different timelines of the music. And something I noticed, something changed in my brain, because I could work in the field. Every day was different, and every day started to grow up these kind of techniques. And one day I wanted to share with my students in the practice of Teacher Wei, Mindre. We started to practice healing with these kind of techniques, observing the frequencies, setting the Qi field. We started to channeling some healing techniques, like Qigong, medical Qigong practice, like a practice with balls of Qi, putting in some acupuncture point. I am also acupuncturist. I studied traditional Chinese medicine. My father was a doctor, and I developed some kind of super ability from 4 years old. Like I really like to put in a red ball point, in the patient that has some kind of illnesses. And then I checked with my father, and the illnesses was there. So I developed like I don't know if you heard about that, the extraocular vision. Okay, so related about the music and the healing and these techniques, we develop with our students extraocular vision in the field to locate the illnesses and to treat with this pulse of Qi and these pairs.
So let me see whether I understood everything correctly. So basically, you are using the music, which has certain frequencies and helps you to get
Yes,
into a higher state of consciousness, to develop your ability to spot where a disease or an illness is within a patient,
yes,
right?
exactly.
And then you use the chi balls or bowls in order to treat the patient there.
Yes,
Good.
yes,
Okay, good.
yes, yes. I didn't expect that I could share this with my students, but my student was really interesting. So we are surfing the field in this moment during our healing work and practice in this kind of techniques. So it's really interesting because you think that setting the chi field, that you have done all the work setting the chi field, but setting the chi field is really the key to enter to something more powerful, more bigger. Teacher Pang developed these 8 steps to enter to the field, but really is the key. Once you enter, you have everything there. You have all the healing techniques. You have all the answers. You can receive any information you need. So our work is not only to develop some new techniques of healing techniques or doing healings. It's about connecting our students to something powerful, to something really unique for each student, each person. Because once you open the door, it's really unique. It's not the same for all the students, you know. So our work is really focusing in teach them to open this door and receive the information and send the information, because you can set your reality, the reality you need. You can find the answer of that question that you are looking for.
Now you said something very interesting there when you said
Yes,
a lot of people, a lot of students think that when they go into the field or through the 8 verses, they practice the 8 verses, this is it. But what you're suggesting here is that is only the door opener. So then you
yes,
have all the space in front of you to create all the amazing things that you've just described. So
yes.
how would you suggest a student, that's really doing good work and is using the 8 verses to get into the field? What is the next step for that student in order to discover all these things that you described?
Our teachers that we are working, like Teacher Wei and Xianze, Teacher Chen, they teach us tools that they are very powerful, because you can use it once you enter to this new world, okay, to the field. Teacher Wei teaches a lot of things that they are very interesting, like doing the breathing with the lower dantian in the field. And that is one, for my experience, is one of the powerful exercises, because you can stabilize yourself, your frequency, and do a perfect merging. And once you do a perfect merging, you can receive what you need, because this kind of energy is really smart. You are going to receive all only you can receive. You are preparing to receive, because many students, and this is something that I reinforce when I teach Shinan Tikkun, they think that they can do things, this and this and this and this, but you need to relax and do a perfect merging and be prepared to receive what you need in this moment. It's all about frequency, Torsten. It's all about frequency. It's the frequency that you can support.
So that is what I want to point out when you speak about merging with the chi field. it means you have to be on the same frequency in order to be able to merge, right?
Exactly.
Because otherwise there is no merging. And then when you're on the same frequency and you are merged and you are the chi field, then it is easy to perceive all this information and to send this
Yes.
information, right?
Yes, you're right.
That brings me back to the music. So, in which way are you using music to get there?
Observing each moment of the music, because observing each moment of the music is similar like observing your breathing, and you can be in the present moment, but in a frequency, in a higher frequency, not just observing your breathing. It's like you can be in a frequency more higher, and this seems that it's easier to do the merging or a stronger merging. It's like tuning a frequency. It's like in a radio. And once you do this merging, you can receive any techniques, okay, you are looking for, or you can ask, or you can set your own chi field in the field. So this is something new, because once you enter to the field, you can set your own chi field, put in some information. For example, you can work put in some information. For example, your perfect healing place, like a forest, like a beach. And then you can work with you, another you, in another frequency, higher frequency. It's not your body, it's another thing. And you can do your healing. And this can affect your physical body faster. So we are doing this in our work. We are playing this in this way.
We have a way you can discover Qigong. So at the Chuneng Qigong Student Hub, we know that understanding Qigong is very important. And also that Chuneng Qigong in itself has various nuances that people can't easily comprehend. So we've approached it in the style of a video game. On this page, Discover Qigong, you can select your character. So you can either be a beginner, a practitioner, or a holistic healer or self-healer. And you click on your character and it takes you to these different sections. In these sections, you can explore the nuances. And when you click on a card, all of the resources pop up, and we've made it really fun, and not many people know about it. So if you are interested, have a look and discover Qigong.
So it's also your way of creation, right? Because as you said, you create your own, you call it to create your own chi field, but what you really do is you put your information, you use your consciousness to create what you would like to create. And that can obviously be in the area of health, but it can obviously also be in other areas of your life.
Yes, exactly, because you can manifest anything you need. I could experience by myself. I could change my life completely. Because about health, about financial state, about relationships, about the perfect work, because working with our students and with our teachers is really beautiful. Can work in this way. So at the China travel that we are going to do together,
right?
It's really, really good. It's amazing. Huh?
Yes.
You can manifest the life you want to have there.
Now,
our teacher give us the tools, only the tools. But you can play with these tools.
Right.
You can
Right.
create.
And when you talk about the frequencies and when you talk about the music, is it a specific frequency that you're looking for? Is there certain songs or certain frequencies in the songs that are important, or can you basically use any music that you enjoy?
No. You need to feel, but you not feel. It's like sense. This is the work of our teacher 10. You are going to feel with this. Something happened. And when something happened, when I spend sometimes maybe several minutes before the session starts, okay, or before my practice start, my daily practice, my personal practice start, because I practice about 1.5 hours or 2 hours in the morning, and sometimes at night also. And I spend sometimes looking for the music. How do I know it's the perfect music about talking about the frequency that we are need to work? It's because I can feel in my heart something happen. It's like it's a really strange sensation. It's a real sensation in this area. So I know is that the perfect music, the perfect frequency. And I do this test just several minutes before the session starts. So because I need to not only search for the perfect music for me, it's for the group. So several minutes, maybe hours, sometimes hours, I started to feel my group, the state of my group. We used to work in that way. We can search the perfect frequency music to work in that way. But mainly I need to search.
So the music can be different depending on which state you are in or which state the group is in. It can be a different tune, a different song, depending on what the current state is, right?
Yes, exactly. Because I started to receive the information of what we need to work. Sometimes we have some students that he is not or she is not feeling so good. Thorsten, we have one student that was in coma for 2 weeks. We used to work in that way to help her during this state. It's really interesting what she could feel during that state in coma in our work, because we could work together. She is also a student of Tito Way. She said to us that she felt in that way supported, and the experience, what she tell us, was the practice we did together, because she shared with us. So her sister also, that was in another country and had panic attack, and once she entered the sister, once she entered in this coma state, she needs to take an airplane and fly to Argentina. We help her to afford this situation. We said that she feel, and we started to work in this way, and she could feel also what we was doing. And this is really powerful, because it's not the techniques, it's not the music, it's your own frequency. It's what you can do in this state once you enter to the field. Right. It's amazing.
So the real power is within you. once you enter the field, and then you can use it for the benefit of, in this case, of your student who was in coma and who, obviously received this information because she was able to share about it once she got
Yes.
back on track and got her health back,
Yes.
right?
Yes. We used to work every day with her, and we receive the information of her in the field, and we work for example, the kidneys are not working, the heart is not working, the liver is not working. So we started to work with this in this way with the organs.
Right.
So it's really powerful what teacher banks develop, what our teachers are doing are not only techniques, they are really powerful tools. It's not only the methods, it's not only level 1, level 2, it's a life system, because you can apply this like a new way of life. It's not practicing 1 hour per day, 2 hours per day. It's not only a session with our teachers, with our instructors. You can apply this during all day. It's a new system of life.
Right.
So it's our main goal to teach our students to discover this, discover themselves, this power inside of them.
Now, this is an important point that you're making, because we have many people, for them, Qineng Qigong is half an hour in the morning and or half an hour in the evening when they do their exercise. And then they start their day and they're a completely different person. They are back to all the rage and all the issues and all of that. Now, how do you, obviously, it's about creating an awareness that Qigong is 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Yes, 24.
Yes. And how, is there any way you support your students so that they have this awareness switched on when they go through their daily lives and face everyday problems? Is there anything you could share with the audience here?
Yes, the work that Teacher Wei is doing, Torsten, observing the Mindre state, is the key. Because I know this because my father was anesthesiology doctors. We used to spend many hours during my life with him, because he already died, talking about the brain. And this is something that brains wake up. When you observe yourself, it's the beginning of this work. So you need to spend at the beginning observing a lot of time, part by part, like the way Teacher Wei is doing. Okay, it's the beginning. The brain can modify the structure and can integrate many things, like typing in the computer, like driving. But this is something about perception, and this is something that the brain starts to activate. But the main point, the beginning, is observing. It's spending sometimes at the beginning doing these exercises, observing yourself, observing part by part, or focusing, observing one part of your body, one dantian, for example. But you need to spend that, because your attention can disperse. You cannot be too much time in one thing. And the most important thing is be in the present moment. But you need to train this.
You train it like you described when you're working with the teachers, for example, and they teach you how to do it, and you do your own practice. But in my experience, it's also something that is you can quite easily do all day long, because observation is so often overlooked. Now, if I react in a certain way in the traffic, for example, or I get angry because the waiter brings me the wrong food or something like that, or I get annoyed here or there, simply by observing myself in this moment, I already change something. I already
Exactly.
take off the anger because now I'm just observing what I'm doing here. And by observing it, I automatically change my state and my reaction and my behavior.
Exactly, Thorsten.
So I think
Yes.
that's why observation is not just an exercise that I do. It is something of how I go through life. And that is something also quite simple. It's not a complicated thing to observe what you're doing because you're
Yeah.
always with yourself. So you see what you're doing. But it's important there to tell people again that observation does not mean judgment. It doesn't mean, oh,
No.
stupid me, I've again been, in a rage or something like that. That's not observation.
Yes.
Observation is just observing what's going on and leave it there. And that
Yes.
simple fact is the exercise, I think that, yeah, that you can do without it actually being an exercise because it's just what you do when you go through life.
Mm.
And that will bring you to this state that you are describing, which opens so many doors and makes it easier for you to perceive things because you're used to observing and you're used to perceive. Observation is an act of perception. And yeah, and just see what's happening. Yeah, observe your bodily reactions, observe your thoughts, your feelings, and that's something you can really do 24 hours a day without effort.
Yes, exactly. And this is really interesting because I discussed this with Teacher Wei 2 years ago, because this kind of work you can translate during the dream time. You started to observe your own dreams and you enter to another new process of healing during dreams. This is something that once you open this door, the process starts and don't stop anymore. It's
Now
really
that is, brings us
amazing.
brings us to a completely new topic,
Yes,
Lou. Are you doing that? Observing your dreams?
yes.
Perfect. I think we've got the perfect topic for the next episode where we explore the whole
Okay.
dreams because for many of us, including me, it's a big miracle. And to learn a little bit more, and you obviously, you have a history, a background of being a very perceptive young woman
Yes,
that
yes.
receives information. So I trust this could be a really interesting, exciting discussion that the two of us might have in the future.
Thank you, Thorsten.
Lou, before we go, obviously, I mean, you mentioned two teachers and their work that has helped you tremendously to get where you are. And I just want to make sure our audience knows that both of these teachers have some exciting courses coming up. You mentioned Teacher Wei. He's got basically a whole year where he does a course
Yes,
now that starts in February. So people can find the link to that course in the show notes. It's online, so everybody can participate. And then
yes.
Master Chen is having this
That's it.
beautiful trip in China where he combines some sightseeing, learning about Chinese culture, but obviously with the core of his work on inner perception. You will also find the link in the show notes. And last but not least, for all the Spanish speakers in particular, we will have obviously your details in the show notes. So anybody who's interested to learn more about it or join your groups of students and benefit from what you're doing there, they can join you in these
Thank you.
trainings and in these
Welcome.
groups, right?
Thank
Okay,
you.
well, thank you very much, Lou. That was really fascinating. A new world for me, what you opened up here, and some very new perspectives. And I think they're incredible points that hopefully have a lot of potential to help people around the world. And yeah, I
Mm.
thank you for the work that you're doing here. You're certainly on the forefront of what is happening in Qineng Qigong.
Thank you. Thank you, Thorsten. Honyoninton.
We trust you enjoyed this conversation and we invite you to subscribe to our podcast so we can stay in touch and notify you of future episodes. We will end today's episode with the 8 verses meditation performed by Qineng Qigong teacher Katrin Hendricks. Enjoy.
Share
To get your free ebook on the 8 Verses meditation, please check the show notes below.